the shouts of the people and was full with the display of different color flags, umbrellas, and whisk, and different varieties of weapons, dress, ornaments, helmets, and armness. The procession, being reflected in the sunshine, appeared just like an ocean with high waves and shark. So we will continue. In this way, the procession of Lord Krishna's party advanced toward Hastinapur, New Delhi, and gradually passed through the kingdoms of Anartha, Gujarat province, Shovira, Shauret, the great desert of Rajasthan, and then Kurukshetra. In between those kingdoms, there were many mountains, rivers, towns, villages, pasturing grounds, and mining fields. The procession passed through all of these places in its advance. On his way to Hastinapur, Lord Krishna crossed two big rivers, Drushvati and Saraswati. Then he crossed the province of Panchal and province of Matsya. In this way, ultimately, he arrived at the Indraprastha. The audience of the Supreme Personality Godhead Krishna is not very commonplace. Therefore, when King Yudhishthir heard that Lord Krishna had already arrived in his capital city Hastinapur, he became so joyful that all his hair stood on end in great ecstasy. And he immediately came out of the city to properly receive him. He ordered the musical vibration of different instruments and songs, and the learned brahmanas of the city began to chant the hymns of the Vedas very loudly. Lord Krishna is known as Rishikesh, the master of the senses, and King Yudhishthir went forward to receive him exactly as the senses meet the consciousness of life. King Yudhishthir was the elderly cousin of Krishna. Naturally, he had great affection for the Lord. And as soon as he saw him, his heart became filled with great love and affection. He had not seen the Lord for many days, and therefore he thought himself most fortunate to see him present before him. The king therefore began to embrace Lord Krishna again and again in great affection. The eternal form of Krishna is the everlasting of the goddess of fortune. As soon as King Yudhishthir embraced him, he became free from all contamination of material existence. He immediately felt transcendental bliss, and he merged in an ocean of happiness. There were tears in his eyes, and his body shook due to ecstasy. He completely forgot that he was living in this material world. After that, Bhimasena, the second brother of the Pandavas, smiled and embraced Lord Krishna, thinking of him as his own maternal cousin, and thus he was merged in great ecstasy. Bhimsena also was so with ecstasy that for the time being he forgot his material existence. Then Lord Sri Krishna himself embraced the other three Pandavas, Arjuna, Nakul, and Sahadev. The eyes of all three brothers were inundated with tears. And Arjuna began to embrace Krishna again and again because they were intimate friends. The two younger Pandava brothers, after being embraced by Lord Krishna, fell down at his lotus feet to offer their respects. Lord Krishna thereafter offered his obeisances to the Brahmanas present there, as well as to the elderly members of the Kuru dynasty, like Bhismadev, Drona, and Dhritarashtra. There were many kings of different provinces, such as Kuru, Shrunjaya, and Kekaya, and Lord Krishna duly reciprocated greetings and respect with them. The professional reciters like the Sutas, Magdas, and Vandinas, accompanied by the Brahmanas, began to offer their respectful prayers to the Lord. Artists and musicians like the Gandharvas, as well as the royal jokers, began to play their drums, kongsal, kettle drums, veenas, mrudangas, and bugles, and they exhibited their dancing art in order to please the Lord. Thus, the all-famous Supreme Personality Godhead Lord Krishna entered the great city of Hastinapur, which was opulent in every respect. While Lord Krishna was entering the city, everyone was talking amongst themselves about the glories of the Lord, praising his transcendental name, quality, form, etc. The road, streets, and lanes of Hastinapur were all sprinkled with fragrant water to the trunks of intoxicated elephants. In different places of the city, there were colorful festoons and flags decorating the houses and streets. At important road crossing, there were gates with golden decoration, and at the two sides of the gates, there were golden water jugs. These beautiful decorations glorify the opulence of the city. Participating in this great ceremony, all the citizens of the city gathered here and there, dressed in colorful new clothing, decorated with ornaments, flower garlands, and fragrant scents. Each and every house was illuminated by hundreds and thousands of lamps placed in different corners of the cornices, walls, columns, bays, and architraves. And from far away, the rays of the lamps resemble the festival of Deepavali, a particular festival observed on New Year's Day of the Hindu calendar. Within the walls of the houses, fragrant incense was burning, and smoke rose through the windows, making the entire atmosphere very pleasing. On the top of every house, flags were flapping, and the gold water pots kept on the roof shone very brilliantly. How much wealth is there, huh? Lord Krishna thus entered the city of the Pandavas, enjoyed the beautiful atmosphere, and slowly proceeded ahead. When the young girls in every house heard that Lord Krishna, the only object worth seeing, was passing on the road, they became very anxious to see this all-famous personality. Their hair loosened, and their tightened saris became slack due to their hastily rushing to see him. They gave up their household engagement, and those who were lying in the bed with their husband immediately left them and came directly down onto the street to see Lord Sri Krishna. The processions of elephants, horses, chariot, and infantry was very crowded. Some, being unable to see properly in the crowd, got up on the roof of the houses. They were pleased to see Lord Sri Krishna passing with his thousands of queens. They began to shower flour on the processions, and they embraced Lord Krishna within their mind and give him a hearty reception. When they saw him in the midst of his many queens, like the full moon situated amongst many luminaries, they began to talk among themselves. So one girl said to another, "My dear friend, it is very difficult to guess what kind of pious activity this queen might have performed, for they are always enjoying the smiling face and loving glances of Krishna." While Lord Krishna was thus passing on the road, at interval, some of the opulent citizens who were all rich, respectable, and free from sinful activities presented auspicious articles to the Lord, just to offer him a reception to the city. Thus they worshipped him as humble servitors. When Lord Krishna entered the palace, all the ladies there became overwhelmed with affection just upon seeing him. They immediately received Lord Krishna with glittering eyes, expressing their love and affection for him. And Lord Krishna smiled and accepted their feelings and gesture of reception. When Kunti, the mother of the Pandavas, saw her nephew Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, she became overpowered with love and affection. She at once got up from her bedstead and appeared before him with her daughter-in-law, Draupadi. And in maternal love and affection, she embraced him. As he brought Krishna within the palace, King Yudhishthira became so confused in his jubilation that he practically forgot what he was to do at that time in order to receive Krishna and worship him properly. Lord Krishna delightfully offered his respect and obeisances to Kunti and other elderly ladies of the palace. His younger sister, Subhadra, was also standing there with Draupadi, and both offered their respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of the Lord. At the indication of her mother-in-law, Draupadi brought clothing, ornaments, and garlands, and with this paraphernalia, they received the queens Rukmini, Satyabhama, Bhadra, Jambavati, Kalindi, Mitravinda, Lakshmana, and the devoted Satya. These principal queens of Lord Krishna were first received, and then the remaining queen were also offered a proper reception. King Yudhishthira arranged for Krishna's rest and saw that all who came along with him, namely his queens, his soldiers, and his minister and his secretaries, were comfortably situated. He had arranged that they would experience a new future of receptions every day while staying as guests of the Pandavas. It was during this time that Lord Sri Krishna, with the help of Arjuna, for the satisfaction of the fire god Agni, allowed Agni to devour the Khandava forest. During the forest fire, Krishna saved the demon Mayasur, who was hiding in the forest. Upon being saved, Mayasur felt obliged to the Pandavas and Lord Sri Krishna, and he constructed a wonderful assembly house within the city of Hastinapur. In this way, Lord Krishna, in order to please King Yudhishthir, remained in the city of Hastinapur for several months. During his stay, he enjoyed strolling here and there. He used to drive on chariots along with Arjuna, and many warriors and soldiers used to follow them. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purport of the second volume, 16th chapter of Krishna, Lord Krishna in Indraprastha city. Chapter 17, Liberation of King Jarasandha. In the great assembly of respectable persons, citizens, friends, relatives, brahmanas, kshatriya and vaishyas, King Yudhishthir, in the presence of all, including his brothers, directly addressed Lord Krishna as follows. My dear Lord Krishna, the sacrifice known as Rajasuya Yajna is to be performed by the emperor, and it is considered to be the king of all sacrifices. By performing this sacrifice, I wish to satisfy all the demigods who are your empowered representatives within this material world. And I wish that you will kindly help me in this great adventure so that it may be successfully executed. As far as the Pandavas are concerned, we have nothing to ask from the demigods. We are personally fully satisfied by being your devotees. Haribol. As you say in Bhagavad Gita, quote, persons who are bewildered by material desire worship the demigod, unquote. But our purpose is different. I want to perform this Rajasuya sacrifice and invite the demigods to show them that they have no power independent of you. They are all your servants, and you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Foolish person with a poor fund of knowledge, consider your lordships and ordinary human beings. Sometimes they try to find fault in you, and sometimes they defame you. Therefore, I wish to perform this Rajasuya Yajna. I wish to invite all the demigods, beginning from Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and other exalted chiefs of the heavenly planets. And in that great assembly of demigods from all parts of the universe, I want to substantiate that you are the Supreme Personality Godhead and that everyone is your servant. He continued, my dear Lord, those who are constantly in Krishna consciousness and who think of your lotus feet or of your shoes certainly become free from all contamination of material life. Persons who are engaged in your service in full Krishna consciousness, who meditate upon you only, or who offer prayer unto you are purified souls. Being constantly engaged in Krishna conscious service, such person become free from the cycle of repeated birth and death. Very good. They do not even desire to become free from this material existence or to enjoy material opulences. Their desires are fulfilled by Krishna conscious activities. Hari Bol. So if we have or we are performing Krishna conscious activity perform, then what is the need of anything else? Completely satisfactions are derived by remaining Krishna conscious. Otherwise, we may try to do so many things to make our life comfortable and happy, but that will never bring any happiness. As far as we are concerned, we are fully surrendered unto your lotus feet, and by your grace, we are so fortunate to see you personally. Therefore, naturally, we have no desire for material opulences. The verdict of the Vedic wisdom is that you are the Supreme Personality Godhead, and I want to establish this fact. And I also want to show the world the difference between accepting you as the Supreme Personality Godhead and accepting you as an ordinary, powerful, historical person. I wish to show the world that one can attain the highest perfection of life simply by taking shelter at your lotus feet, exactly as one can satisfy the branches, twigs, leaves, and flowers of an entire tree simply by watering the root. Thus, if one takes to Krishna consciousness, his life becomes fulfilled both materially and spiritually. Haribol. This does not mean that you are partial to the Krishna conscious person and are indifferent to the non-Krishna conscious person. You are equal to everyone. That is your declaration. You cannot be partial to one and not interested in others because you are sitting in everyone's heart as the super soul and giving everyone the respective result of his fruitive activities. You give every living entity the chance to enjoy this material world as he desires. As super soul, you are sitting in the body along with the living entity, giving him the result of his own action as well as opportunity to turn toward your devotional service by developing Krishna consciousness. You openly declare that one should surrender unto you, giving up all other engagements, and that you will take charge of him, giving him relief from the reaction of all the sins. You are like the desire tree in the heavenly planets, which awards benedictions according to one's desire. Everyone is free to achieve the highest perfection, but if one does not so desire, then your awarding of lesser benediction is not due to partiality. On hearing this statement of King Yudhishthira, Lord Krishna replied as follows. My dear King Yudhishthira, O killer of the enemies, O ideal justice personified, I completely support your decisions to perform the Rajasuya sacrifice. So he got the approval. By performing this great sacrifice, your good name will remain well established forever in the history of human civilization. My dear King, may I inform you that it is the desire of all great sages, your forefathers and demigods, and your relatives and friends, including myself, that you perform this sacrifice. And I think that it will satisfy every living entity. But because it is necessary, I request that you first of all conquer all the kings of the world and collect all requisites paraphernalia for executing this great sacrifice. My dear King Yudhishthir, your four brothers are direct representative of important demigods like Varuna, Indra, etc. In the parenthesis, it is said that Bhima was born of the demigod Varuna and Arjuna was born of the demigod Indra, whereas King Yudhishthir himself was born of the demigod Yamaraj. Parenthesis over. Your brothers are great heroes, and you are the most pious and self-controlled king, and are therefore known as Dharmaraj. All of you are so qualified in devotional service unto me that automatically I have become revealed by you. Lord Krishna told King Yudhishthira that he becomes conquered by the love of one who has conquered his senses. One who has not conquered his senses cannot conquer the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is what it's Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj also says, that unless we get the full control on the senses, Maya Devi will never leave us alone. So this is the secret of devotional service. To conquer the senses means to engage them constantly in the service of the Lord. The specific qualification of all the Pandava brothers was that they always engage their senses in the service of the Lord. One who thus engages his senses become purified. And with purified senses, one can actually render service to Lord. The Lord can thus be conquered by the devotees by loving transcendental service. Lord Krishna continued. I think we will read tomorrow so that continuation still remains. It's 6:53, and also I have to do some more cleaning thing on my yard. That I would like to finish before it gets too hot. So we will close our session today, and from tomorrow then we will go up to 8 o'clock. But today I need one more day because I want to bring all my yard. I will send you the picture, how much tree leaves, twigs, branches, and the tree trunks was destroyed in my yard. On the street, it's just my house. I am the first one to remove all the debris yesterday. And I blew it out the yard. Still, I will have to do some other cleaning and weed out. So it will look again. And also I have I made the arches for climbing rows. One side is white, one side is pink. That whole thing has fallen down. So I don't know how much I will be able to put it back, but I'm going to work on that. So with those thoughts, I would like to offer my humble obeisances at the desk of these wonderful Vaishnavas and Vaishnavas who take austerity every single day to join on our Zoom call. From Houston, from Fresno, from New Hampshire, Aurora, Illinois, New York, New Jersey, Virginia, Boston, Boise, Atlanta, Phoenix, Tampa, Austin, College Station, San Jose, Portland, Dallas, Detroit, Chicago, Naperville, Philadelphia, Charlotte, Baltimore, Baton Rouge, Alachua, Orlando, Sanford, Jacksonville, Loganville, Georgia, Maine, Ottawa, Toronto, Kolkata, Pondicherry, and Pickering, near Toronto. Vanchakalpatarubhasya kripa sindhu bhayavacha patitanam